Imagine handing someone the most complex project on your desk, the kind of work that takes 3 solid days of deep concentration. You assign the task, you walk away, and when you return just minutes later, it is entirely finished. Better yet, as you review the final output, you spot a strange note buried in the margins. I caught an error in my original approach at step 4 and corrected it. The system noticed its own mistake and fixed it, entirely without human intervention. That specific sequence of events became a reality on April 16, 2026. For years, the standard approach to AI was reactive. You asked a question, it gave an answer, and the interaction ended. It functioned as a very capable search engine. This new model represents a move toward proactive, independent labor. This shift from single-pass generation to internal iteration changes how we trust these systems. By catching its own flaws before delivery, the software begins to bridge the gap between a tool that needs constant supervision and one that manages its own quality control. When Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.7, the initial conversation focused heavily on standard software engineering benchmarks, but you can absolutely ignore those percentages. Instead, look at a test known as the GPQA Diamond. This is an evaluation built out of questions in biology, chemistry, physics, and computer science. These questions are explicitly designed by experts to stump other PhD-level professionals in those exact fields. This bar chart compares human expert baselines on the GPQA Diamond benchmark against the performance of Opus 4.7. The model achieved a 94.2% success rate. On questions built to defeat PhDs, it achieves this high score through a specific mechanical process. During the planning phase, it actively searches for and audits its own logical faults before it ever begins executing the task. Achieving this level of accuracy on expert-level material suggests the system has moved into a state of reliable technical reasoning that matches human specialists in the hard sciences. We start with a straight line, the legacy approach. Now, Opus 4.7 forms a continuous circular loop connecting plan, do, audit, and fix. Those new nodes operate continuously in the background, trapping and correcting logical flaws long before reaching your screen. To leverage this loop, developers introduced a new framework called the Advisor tool, which allows you to deploy these models in tandem. It sets up a clear hierarchy. You assign a high-intelligence AI to act as the senior strategist, paired perfectly with a faster, smaller model that executes the tasks. They operate together in constant 24/7 synchronization. This structural loop changes the human workflow. Instead of micromanaging individual tasks, a single human operator now oversees an automated organizational intelligence. This technical reasoning scales across nearly every profession. Students and researchers can now feed the system academic papers and complex diagrams at 3 times the visual resolution of previous versions, allowing the AI to catch minute details in charts that older models missed. Business leaders can deploy autonomous agents with sandbox security. You define a goal, and the agent executes the entire workflow on its own, streaming its progress back to your dashboard in real time. This animated data cluster represents what is known as a 1 million token context window. This shows the actual scale of that memory limit, roughly the equivalent of holding 750 full-length novels in active memory during a single conversation. Practically, this means you can upload an entire lifetime's worth of archives, decades of company documentation, or sprawling research libraries, and converse instantly with all of that data at once. When high-resolution vision, autonomous execution, and 1 million token memory are combined, the system stops being a series of isolated features and becomes an integrated environment for managing complex, long-term projects. Anthropic intentionally designed Opus 4.7 to be less capable than their true internal limits. They have a more advanced system named Claude Mythos Preview. Its capabilities, specifically within the domain of global cybersecurity, far exceed what Opus 4.7 can do. They chose to withhold Mythos from public release. It remains highly sandboxed, operating only within a controlled program of 11 vetted partner companies to identify and patch severe software vulnerabilities before bad actors can exploit them. Deliberately containing their most capable model suggests these developers are moving with extreme caution because they recognize the significant power of what they have already built. This move toward autonomy suggests a near future where these systems don't just execute tasks, they oversee them. In 3 years, the role of a manager may involve coordinating these autonomous agents to run entire research programs or departments. This shift moves the human role further up the chain of command. The choice is to understand these systems well enough to oversee them, or find yourself part of a workflow being managed by one.